Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I ended up in this situation. As you see, I'm struggling with the exercises from recorded lectures. For this lecture, there is no live session, and the questions can't be answered in time. Sadly, I'm trapped at home. I can't go to the campus for the lecture, and I don't have a chance for group study. Every day, I'm repeating the same activities, waking up in my sloppy pajama, facing the computer for the whole day. I really miss the time talking with my friends in the classroom and studying together. It makes these no-clue exercises much easier for me. Before this semester started, I was so excited about the on-site lecture. I couldn't wait to text my friend to meet, but he gave me a big no without any hesitation. I was really disappointed. Coronavirus kept me away from my friends and messed up my whole life.
That's how we came up with the idea of doing a research about the impact on social health of students in Munich under COVID-19. In order to proceed with our research, we use the Agile method. Agile is an iterative approach to project management and software development that helps teams deliver value to their customers faster and with fewer headaches. For the research, we adapted an Agile approach to work efficiently with high quality in a limited time. During the first sprint, we did initial planning, first draft of survey and review. In the second sprint, we designed the second draft and collected more data and reviewed it. During this process, we have come to the conclusion that another type of investigation interview would be a good indicator. In the last sprint, instead of creating another survey, we decided to do in-person and online interviews in parallel. In the interviews, there were 5 open-answer questions for understanding the change of students' lives during the pandemic period. For the final launch, we analyzed all data and information we have collected through 3 sprints. With the result of the analysis, we came up with the final conclusion. Let's first talk about the survey. Our survey was a short questionnaire and it reached up to 358 students. In the survey, 49% of our participants are male, 50.6% are female, and 0.3% are transgender. We defined a scope as engineering and non-engineering students. 46.2% of them are engineering students, and 53.8% of them are non-engineering students. Now let's talk about social interaction. Social interaction is the process by which 2 or more people, groups, or social groups influence each other. In this section, we observed how students are socially interacting with others during pandemic. The first question measures the personal distancing behavior. Participants of the survey estimated the number of times they engaged in each of the 12 activities over 2 periods, in the typical 7 days before the coronavirus outbreak and in the last 7 days. The most significantly reduced exercise are shaking hands and taking a taxi or rideshare service. Basically, every activity has been reduced except for working from home. This activity has dramatically increased by 94% compared to previous times. This is the change rate of activities for the social interaction by the genders. Since we only have one sample of the trans, we excluded it from here. In this chart, for the activity leaving one's home, only 7 male students reduced their frequencies, while 18 female students stopped leaving one's home. For female students, the shaking hands activity is the one most affected. It is also the activity that female students and male students have the second most difference in. The largest difference lies in activity working from home, which has a 26.55% gap. Now we divide the social interaction activities by majors. Compared to the gender analysis, engineering majored students and non-engineering majored students do not have a dramatic difference in reduced rate of activities. The most differences were shown in working from home or staying away from work. More non-engineering students increased. It can mean engineering students have more studies to do on site. On the other hand, there were more engineering students who stayed within 2 meters of someone not from one's household. Now let's take a look at how secure that students feel about their social relationship during the pandemic. In this graph, the higher the number is, the lower confidence they feel about their social relationship. The average of the level is 5.3, which is intermediate, and also means that students do not feel secure enough about their social bonding compared to before COVID-19. The reason for this can be that, due to the social distance, it is harder for students to encounter a new person, but they can still maintain the social relationship they had before. We also observed the previous scope by gender. The average value for the male was 4.9 and for the female was 5.6. It means that female students have less confidence with their social relationship security level. When we divide the result by the major, the average for the non-engineering and engineering are similar, which are 5.2 and 5.3 respectively. Next question is asking about the effort that students need to invest in maintaining their social relationship. We expected that students would need more effort for it, and as we expected, the average of this question is 6.5. The interesting part of this question is that the most voted range is 10. It means many students extremely agree with the question. For this part, both females and males feel the same. The trends are the same and the average value for the female is 6.4 and male is 6.6. The average of both graphs are similar. However, in the major section, there are 14 less engineering students who chose 9 than non-engineering students, but it catches up the number in the range 10. Let's talk about social resource measures. In this section, we observe how students are emotionally bonded with others, and how big is their social network size. In this question, we asked how much students feel emotionally connected with one new friend. Higher the number is, the less connected they feel. The average answer is 6.0 for among all participants, and the most selected number was 8. It indicates that overall students in Munich are feeling less emotional bond with at least one new friend. Now it's a comparison by gender. Based on the comparison, female students hold a higher level of lacking emotional bonding than male students. The most selected level for female students is 10, and for male students is 8. The average answer for female students is 6.21, and for male students, it is 5.61. By the major, based on the comparison, engineering majored students hold a slightly higher level of lacking emotional bonding than non-engineering majored students. The average answer for non-engineering majors is 5.95 and for engineering majors, it is 6.11. The most selected level for both non-engineering students and engineering students is 8. For the last question, we asked the social network size of students in the period before and after the coronavirus outbreak. Parents by -9.83% and friends by -8.5% are two categories that are affected least among all types of social relationships according to students in Munich. Community group members by -52.94% can be considered as the most affected groups in student social network consistency. For the gender comparison, unlike the other charts, male students and female students have a bit of difference in their social network size. For female students, partners are the most reduced category compared to male students, while for male students, children and co-worker were the most reduced categories. By major, the reduced rate of meeting children for engineering students was the most significant compared to non-engineering student. The next section is about qualitative research. In total, we proceeded to 18 interviews online and offline. Our first question in the interview was, how would you describe your social life now, during the pandemic? Most students do not enjoy these days because of less real interaction with friends and family. The second question was, have COVID-19 had any impact on your social life compared to the time before the pandemic? They answered that their socialization frequency got reduced a lot due to the virus. The third question was, how do you feel about the changes that have been brought about by COVID-19? And most of the students responded that the changes were pretty much negative. The fourth question was if they have any worries about their future due to the pandemic. For this question, most of the students seemed optimistic and relaxed with their future compared to the beginning of the pandemic. The last question was if there is any advice or opinion about what needs to happen next to improve the situation. Many of them emphasized vaccination, masks, and keeping a social distance. In addition, for the government, students hope that they should make clear and more effective rules. In conclusion, it is obvious that coronavirus changed students' lives and social health significantly. Students reduced the frequency of stepping out from home, not being in touch with friends and family frequently, reduced the chance to meet new people, but meeting more people virtually. We might live with coronavirus for a longer time. We should accept this fact and try to adapt to the lifestyle with a mask and keep social distance. Under this circumstance, we should encourage ourselves to go out and try to contact friends in person and get to know new people.